So, number one, students will be able to explain characteristics, examples, non-examples of resiliency within the story that they are reading using the think, pair, share method, which is from the FAIR model. And I believe that that is the learning objective for this lesson. As far as the standard in my content area, I think the standard that aligns with this lesson is RI.5.8, which is identifying details and examples that support specific points in a text. Number 3, I said that the teacher uses the think, pair, share technique to align the lesson with the learning objective. This lesson, number 4, this lesson is an effective student-centered activity because they are in full control of their learning. Number 5, I said that students are more likely to be interested when they're in charge of their learning, and having students call on others to critique them. Number 6, I said I would do an activity like this in my class when we're talking about a specific theme in something that we're reading. Number 7, I think that this type of activity would be good for my content area, especially when I want the students to focus on a specific theme. Number 8, I decided to talk about Jean Piaget, who is a theorist who supports students learning from other students through group work. And I believe that this lesson is a perfect example of that because the students are working together, but then they discuss their answers with the class, and then the students kind of critique their classmates as well. Number 9, I said grouping is effective because the partners even each other out based on their strengths and weaknesses. So, for example, in the video, maybe one of the students didn't feel like sharing their answer with the class, so the other student shared. Well, then the teacher said to support your partner so that they can discuss with the class as well. So maybe they don't know what the answer is and they feel like they need to talk to their partner to figure out what it is. They're given the opportunity to do this so that they have a chance to speak to the class as well and share their opinions. Number 10, I said I think that the way the teacher grouped students was effective because he knows what their strong points are, I'm assuming. 11, I do feel as the students are engaged because they take charge of their learning. Those who are quiet, as I said, are encouraged by their partner. Number 12, the students are learning to take constructive criticism. Students are learning how to take charge in their lesson. So in the video, a girl shared what she thought in front of the class, and then the teacher had her call on somebody who was going to critique her lesson or her example, and she told her that she thought her answer was too short. So I think this is a good way to teach students how to accept constructive criticism and not take it to heart. Number 13, working in groups is beneficial instead of just calling on them. So having the students work together in groups, I feel like is beneficial because yes, they're given the chance to think on their own, but they're also given the chance to work with a partner. And then they're given the chance to work on that discussion together and then share it with their whole class and have another discussion about it. Number 14, the teacher explains to students what they're going to be doing in class, and then he lets them do it on their own, but then comes back at the end of class to assess their learning. The teacher asks questions to keep the conversation going throughout the class. So at first he says, explain characteristics, and then he says, explain non-examples. So I think it's a good idea to have them talk about the non-examples so that they have a better understanding of what they should be looking for in resiliency and examples of resiliency. Number 15, the teacher gives the students the opportunity to prep their partner to participate in discussion. And like I said before, I really like this idea because, everybody should be given the chance to talk in class, but some students don't really have the courage to say what they feel because they feel like they might be wrong. So, talking to their classmate who has already shared something, it also, kind of helps the situation where the same kid is answering the questions over and over again. So if their partners are given the chance to talk now and they're sharing their opinions with their partner, they get the chance to share too. So it's not just their partner talking, if that makes sense. So number 16, the teacher asks the students to think of real life examples or from the book, characteristics of a resilient person and non-examples of resilience. Number 17, I really like the idea of how the teacher asks the students to share non-examples because it strengthens their understanding of what they should be looking for, as I said before. Number 18, the students are chosen as a facilitator, and after discussing with their partners, a student calls on others to answer questions. Number 19, the students are producing responses on what seems to be a discussion board that is shared. Number 20, I like the idea of having the students create a PowerPoint of examples in the book, real life, and non-examples. So yes, I liked the idea of a discussion in class, but I think it would be a cool idea to have the students create a PowerPoint and then maybe share it with the class too. That way they could, go a little bit deeper into what they think about it. Number 21, the students present their product with the class by sharing it with them. It also is shared on the board in class too. So the teacher pulls up their discussion and goes over it and has the class critique it, kind of. Number 22, I really like how this teacher taught this lesson because of the discussion between the students and allowing them to take charge in their learning. I also think allowing them to create their own presentation would be beneficial as well. Number 23, the teacher assesses students' understanding of the lesson on resilience by using formative assessment. And he asks the students to show their hands how comfortable they're feeling with the vocabulary word resilience. And 1 would be not comfortable at all, and 5 would be very comfortable. And so the students raised their hands, and of course, some said 4, like a lot of them said 5. So this kind of gives the teacher like a visual idea of what students have it down pat, what students are still struggling. This is a great way to do a formative assessment at the end of the day. And then number 24, another way to assess students' understanding is by what they've posted in the document that is shared in front of the class.